Hi everyone. Today I will explain about topic application of motor control or motor learning through practice. Focus on motor control. Okay, are you ready? Okay, now I will start with what is motor control. Okay, motor control is the best result of interactions between meaning system including environment, which is the social system is part of the environments and influence movement requirement as well. And then attention, concentration and motivation to perform movement are necessary for motor learning. And then societal influence may influence movement. For example, in the United States, active children are viewed as healthy and thus activity in which children move are expected. For this society, movement such as on the playground, in the backyard is valued and viewed as a major role in children's learning of motor skills and thus must be considered in designing intervention strategies to teach children movement in their environment or in their life. Now I will talk about motor learning and actually motor learning defined to the modification of motor skills, which is motor learning explores transfer of learning, sequencing and adapting tasks, type and amount of practice, error-based learning, timing and type of feedback and mental rehearsal. In this concept, actually provide useful information or techniques involved in the teaching or learning process of movement. And then motor learning actually have two types or two categories, which is the first one is transfer of learning. Actually it refers to applying learning to new situations where children transfer learning performed in the clinic or intervention setting to the natural context. For example, after walking on environment, a new wheelchair through an obstacle course at the clinic with ease. The therapist hopes the child will be able to maneuver the wheelchair through the school hallway. And then motor skill with similar components and more likely to transfer. For one more likely to transfer. For example, a child who has just successfully learned to throw a ball would more easily learn to throw a beanbag at a target. And the second one is sequencing and adapting tasks, which is we use grading and adapting motor tasks so that children are successful constitute part of the occupational therapy process. And when sequencing and adapting activities for children, therapists consider the amount of direction required. Movement requiring less direction is easier to learn than those require multiple directions. Okay, now we look about practice levels and types. Actually, practice is an essential feature of occupational therapy intervention and actually is a considerable amount of research has been conducted or the use of practice to improve or develop motor skills. Practice level have two types. The first one is mass practice. Mass practice, also known as block, is defined as practice in which the period performing the movement is greater than the rest period. For example, asking a child to pick up 10 blocks and put them all in container before taking a break and then repeating the same again. Okay, and the second type is distribute practice, which is as a practice in which rest between trials is greater than the time of the trial. Short frequent practice is better than longer. And actually, we also have mental practice, where it includes performing the skill in the imagination without any action involved. It may consist of role-playing, watching a video, or imagining. Okay, error-based learning. Error-based learning, where children learn movement by making errors or mistakes and self-correcting. But making errors in control setting allows children to resolve problems and is important for facilitating their motor skill learning. And encouraging children to explore, adjust movement and evaluate their response and reaction will help them learn and refine motor skills. Feedback. Feedback is intrinsic feedback, which is allow the children to self-correct, is most effective for sustaining motor performance and should be the goal of intervention sessions, where it may be elicited through discovery, a situation in which the therapist set up the environment and the child is allowed to explore and discover, make errors and consequently learn new ways of moving. And then feedback have three types. The first one is knowledge of performance. The second one is knowledge of result. And the third one is verbal feedback. Okay, what is verbal knowledge of performance? Actually, it was a feedback to improve movement is more helpful. For example, next time press a little more when you write alphabets. And then knowledge of performance will help children understand how they perform the desired movement. And therapists may provide descriptive feedback to the child about performance of a specific task, such as writing. You hold the pencil between thumb and fingers and press lightly. Or therapists may provide prescriptive feedback, such as next time you color smoothly. Okay, and the second one is knowledge of result, which is this feedback related to the desired outcomes that will help children understand movement. And then this knowledge of result is motivating and encourage children to continue. It is most helpful when learning new motor skills. And the third one is verbal feedback. Verbal feedback is best of provided immediately or after completion of the task, where verbal praise and reinforcement are useful is motivating clients and changing behavior, but maybe will change in clinical setting. And positive feedback with specific cues improve performance, such as you press firmly with the pencil, where it will help children to perform with independently and show the good progress when therapists give them feedback when they are do the task. Okay, about the conclusion, an overview of motor learning concept of practice, feedback, modeling or demonstration, and mental practice was provided. And a final case example illustrated the application of motor control or motor learning principles to occupational therapy practice. Okay, that's all for my sharing about this topic. Hope it will give benefit to you all. Okay, bye-bye.